Now moving on, 46 Afghan soldiers, including 5 officers, have fled into Pakistan after losing their military posts across the border. Pakistan military's media wing says the soldiers have been given refuge on the request of the Afghan military. Now, the Inter-Services Public Relations Department of the Army's aide said the soldiers will be returned to Kabul after due process. The ISPR said the Afghan personnel arrived at the Arundu Sector of Chitral last night. They said the Afghan soldiers have been provided food, shelter and necessary medical care. Early on the 1st of July, 35 Afghan soldiers were also given a safe passage into Pakistan on their request. Now, for more on this, we have with us Lieutenant General retired Naeem Khalid Lodhi, a defense analyst from Islamabad. Thank you very much for joining us now. Mr. Lodhi, tell us, the US and Afghan forces have stepped up airstrikes against the Taliban. What impact would it have on the rapid gains being made by the Taliban in the ongoing conflict?
Thank you very much. I think we should also consider that whether it is a violation of any agreement between the Taliban and the US forces, because as far as I understand, Afghan Taliban did not attack any American individual while they were withdrawing. And now that they have totally withdrawn, probably it seems that they have gone back on that agreement. Anyway, what is likely to happen is that with this action excuse me, of the US, the environment is going to further vitiate, and any prospects of talks between Afghan government and Afghan Taliban will further diminish. And that is exactly, in my opinion, what the US wants. They actually do not want that there should be a peace in Afghanistan. They never wanted that in the last 20 years. They just wanted to keep this area in turmoil so that Chinese influence can be stopped. Russia and Central Asian countries cannot use this route to the warm waters. The CPEC gets stalled. So all these things are very well known to us. So I think they are just pursuing their policy. One, that they have not honored the agreement. They are breaking that. Because once we say that we have no favorites and it should be Afghan-led, Afghan-owned solution, which means that we must leave the Afghans at their own, machinations. So they are not doing that. So I think it is going to further bring bitterness in the overall situation.
Right, Mr. Lodhi, we also know the Taliban have warned Washington of consequences for stepping into the fight again. Do we see a delay in the withdrawal of foreign forces if the Taliban retaliate by attacking US assets in Afghanistan?
In my assessment, they have already left. There is no soldiers, US soldiers left in the area. Maybe only few of them may be there. So there's no question of any delay or not delay. The only thing is that the Turkish soldiers who are there to, look after the Kabul airport, to defend the Kabul airport, maybe their withdrawal is delayed a bit. Otherwise, I think all NATO forces, all US forces, they have left. But one thing, as far as the military assessment is concerned, if such a large force, when it was here, they could not subdue Taliban, definitely these over-the-horizon operations will not be able to harm them much. So Taliban are likely to continue their gains. And of course, there can be a little slowdown. They may change their tactics, all those things. And also, I think it also bodes bad as far as the Afghan government is concerned, because now Taliban will not be in any mood to forgive anyone in the Afghan government.
So the international community has been warning of a possible civil war in Afghanistan. But with a widespread fighting across the country, isn't it already a civil war?
It is a civil war. There's no doubt about it. But, international community also think at times, not very correctly, that maybe Afghan Taliban they have no support in the Afghan civil society. All of us who know about the insurrection movements and such operations, we all know that such a long struggle is not possible without the support of the local population. So in my assessment, and I do not insist on that, Afghan Taliban, they enjoy a lot of support as far as Afghan society is concerned. And this civil war will only last as long as American Air Force keeps supporting the Afghan army. The moment that the support diminishes or reduces, Afghan Taliban are likely to take over everything.
Mr. Lodhi, lastly, Pakistan and the Afghan government have shared a rather bittersweet relation lately because of the Kabul administration's constantly blaming Pakistan for its failures in Afghanistan. With the Ashraf Ghani government now requesting refuge for its troops that fled for their lives into Pakistan, how do you see this relationship between the two countries moving forward?
We must try to differentiate between the present Afghan government, which has a very limited, say as far as the Afghanistan is concerned, and the Afghan people and Afghan society at large. They are our brothers. Anyone who wants any refuge which we can afford to give, we should do that, irrespective of what Afghan government, the present government says, which I do not think that they have already lost their legitimacy because of two things. One, that Americans, while going, did not take them into confidence and talk to Afghan Taliban separately. And secondly, the way this government was installed, we know it very well. Just with 5% votes, for 6 months the results were not announced. And when the results were announced, two people said that they are the president, so we know all that. So I think irrespective of what Ghani and Amrullah Saleh and Mohib, they keep saying, we can boycott them, but not the Afghan army and not the Afghan people. They are our brothers, which we must try to strive to have good relations with Afghanistan society, Afghan army, and Afghan people as a whole.
Right, Lieutenant General retired Naeem Khalid Lodhi, thank you very much for talking to Indus News.